Hey everyone, and welcome to another video and welcome to another AliExpress special. So what we have today is the iPhone battery pack, and what I have here is two seemingly identical iPhone battery packs. The idea behind this video is what I've done is I've ordered one genuine battery case directly from Apple, and then I've ordered one of the AliExpress Magsafe battery packs. This one was listed as a 1-for-1, so in theory this should be identical to the real deal. I will preface this video just by saying that this particular unit that I've got isn't fully functioning. Now, the seller that I bought this from has already sent out a replacement unit, however that hasn't actually come yet. So what we'll do is when I receive that, I will do a follow-up video. But in order to give you guys an idea in terms of the sort of the lottery that you play basically whenever you're ordering from AliExpress, I thought I need to actually make this video, because the fact that I've got a faulty unit means that any of you guys, when you order it, could also get that faulty unit as well. And the fault in itself is kind of weird as well. So I'll explain that once we get to the testing part of the video. But first what we'll do is we'll do a quick unboxing side by side, and that way you can see exactly what you're getting. So opening it up, I think by this stage you'll probably already figure out which one's real and which one's fake. So yeah, the one on my left is the real one and the one on my right is the fake one. You can tell that because the genuine ones will always come wrapped in this, it's not really plastic, it's more like a paper, almost like a greaseproof paper. But yeah, they come wrapped in this particular type of material. What I'll do is I'll get that out and we'll get that to the side. And we'll just quickly take a look at what else we get in the box. So we do get some paperwork. Obviously, this being a Magsafe accessory, any accessories that have Magsafe, if I can get my words out, will always come with some paperwork with regards to the magnets, because of pacemakers and things of that nature. They do have to give certain paperwork with it. So the genuine one comes with some paperwork like that. The replica comes in one of these sort of anti-static bags, because these are being shipped all over the world. Instantly, we'll do a comparison on the actual units in a second, but yeah, looking at the paperwork that you get with it, you do get some paperwork, because at the end of the day this is still a battery product and it also has Magsafe in it as well. So for that reason they still have to give you something, but obviously clearly this is not identical to the real deal. Now we'll take a look at the units themselves. So instantly when you look at the inside of these, you should be able to tell. It might be a little difficult because of my lighting, but the real one has a very white ring and the extra magnets at the bottom, whereas this one's almost like a sort of just a chiseled down version of the sort of rubber silicone material that you actually have on the inside. So first and foremost, that's the sort of obvious difference. Now taking a look at the actual units themselves, it may just be the light, but to me it looks like the Apple logo is just slightly off on the replica as well, but it's very close. If you were to just look at the back of both of these, I don't think you'd be able to tell. Similarly, if somebody just gave you one of these, I don't think you'd really be able to tell either. In terms of build, one thing I have noticed is the replica has a sort of flex to it. You might have just heard it before when I was actually pressing it. However, what I've also noticed is even with the genuine one, when you put it on and at the point when you take it off, there's something within this where when it releases, there is a little bit of a clicky sound that it makes. And I've tried it both directly on the phone as well as using a leather case and as well as a silicone case as well, and it's exactly the same on all of them. It kind of freaks you out the first time you hear it, because you think that all the rest of this feels really solid, but that's just a weird kind of quirk that it's got. In terms of your ports on the bottom, yeah, your ports are identical on both. You do have a lightning connector on each, and then just next to it, looking at it from the front to the right of it, you do also have a little sort of status LED as well. On the inside, another big difference is the fact that the writing on the genuine one is very matte, so it's almost invisible. On the replica, as you can see just there, it's a lot more noticeable. It basically stands out like crazy, whereas on the genuine one, they're trying to keep it as minimalist as possible, so they're trying to hide that away as much as possible. In terms of sizing, what I've also noticed is that the rubber on the replica seems to protrude a tiny bit more, either the rubber or just the actual casing, the actual build of the battery itself, but something actually protrudes out just a tiny bit more. Right, so what we'll do now is I'll grab a phone and we'll do some testing with the phone. Okay, so here we are back with a iPhone 12 Pro Max. First thing I'll do is I'll show you what the genuine one is meant to do. On the actual lock screen itself, once you apply the battery, which it clicks on quite well, you will get this sort of logo come up. And if we take a look at the battery widget, what we will notice is that you have one for the actual phone itself, so at the moment it's on 34%, and then you also have another one for the actual battery itself, so it tells you exactly how much charge is left in the battery. What we also have is if we pull down and we long press on the low power mode, you then get another toggle for basically allowing it to charge past 90%, because by default what it wants to do is once it hits 90%, it will stop taking juice from the actual battery pack, because obviously this thing's capacity is actually less than what the phone can actually handle. So that's what the genuine one does. If I take it off, as you can see, it updates straight away, and if I just pop it back on, you should see that pop back up again, and you can see instantly you get the Magsafe sound, you get the Magsafe animation if it's on the lock screen, and then you also get the battery percentage just there as well. So that's what the genuine one does. So let's take a look at what the replica does. So back on the lock screen, I'll pop it on. So we do get the icon and animation initially, but when I then unlock the phone, what you will notice is it's still charging. So you can see just in that top right hand corner, it is still charging. However, despite the fact that the battery is on, it's not actually recognizing the fact that it's a Magsafe battery that's actually plugged in. Now, if we come into low power mode and we bring up that toggle, as you can see, the battery is still on, and it doesn't give you that additional toggle. Now, what I have found is if I move the battery around, every now and then you will actually see it pop up. So it just needs like the perfect alignment, and then eventually it does actually work. But getting it to actually show up is almost impossible. Like, I've tried it probably 10 times in a row, and maybe once out of those 10 it's actually worked. But basically when it's worked, I've been moving this on the back and it's gone too far and it's then disappeared again. The other thing I've noted is that when I actually remove it, so now it's not charging no more, and if I drop that on, it doesn't always, yeah, so you might have just seen it there. It did actually pop up for a tiny second, but then it disappeared again. There you go. You should have caught it just there where it briefly pops up and then it disappears. And this isn't an issue to do with the case or anything like that, because I have tested this on 3 different phones now. So I tested on my 13 Pro Max, my 12 Pro Max, and also this, which is my wife's 12 Pro Max as well. So 3 different devices that I've actually tested this on, and all 3 do the same thing. So the reason it's doing this is because the sellers claim that this particular battery pack is actually faulty. Now, that's why he's actually sent out a replacement, but this is why I wanted to actually make this video as well, because to be fair to the seller, I will retest it once the replacement arrives. But as you can see, this will operate as a battery pack. It will even operate as a Magsafe battery pack for the most part. So the other part that I was getting to was the fact that I have had it where, there you go, it briefly popped up and then it disappears again. Yeah, as I was saying, I have had it where I've disconnected this and I've gone to reconnect it, and basically it just doesn't even register it. It doesn't recognize the fact that there's any battery pack even connected. So what I'll do is I'll wait for it to stop charging, and then I'll drop that back on, and you see it briefly pop up and then it disappears. And every now and then when you pop it back on, it doesn't actually recognize that it's being charged. So even the charging function doesn't actually work. The other thing that I found was I did actually try basically using it fully, and it depleted extremely quickly. So clearly there's something wrong with this particular battery pack. That's why basically I wanted to both make this video as well as give the seller a chance to actually correct the situation and send out a replacement that does function. In terms of the actual Magsafe battery pack, unlike a lot of people out there, I actually really like this product because I think people miss the sort of idea of it. The one thing that I really like about Apple products is the way that they actually try and preserve your battery life as much as possible with your optimized charging. Now, if you were to just chuck on any other battery pack, and I've got other ones, I've got Zero wireless battery pack, and when you drop them on, you have to manually turn it on to charge, and you have to manually turn it off to stop charging. Otherwise, it will basically just empty its whole bank straight into the phone, and that's it, it's done, it's gone. Whereas what this does is it only charges the amount that it needs to, and it'll do it in a way where your phone's not heating up, because that's the other thing that I really hate about using battery packs, is that your phone always heats up so much, it becomes uncomfortable, you don't really want to hold it and use it anymore. It's just not a very good experience. The fact that you have the Magsafe's portion of this means that you're getting a slightly faster charge. Obviously it'll fluctuate, and if your phone is heating up too much, if you're using it at the same time in particular, and it just made that sound. So what I'll do is I'll just release it, and as you can hear, there's this kind of plasticky separation sound that it makes, and this is the genuine one, by the way. Just that there. It's just really off-putting, but it's one of those things where you get used to it. Initially, when you first time you do it, you think, has it separated or something? Has the rubber come off or something? But yeah, that is how it's meant to be. Let's just see what the third-party one does. So as you can see on the lock screen, it's normally always fine. It's almost every time where it does it perfectly fine. Yeah, so the replica doesn't do it. It just dropped off there, but generally speaking, the actual the magnets in the battery pack, they're probably exactly the same. Let me just test that one more time. No, yeah, I would say the genuine battery pack's magnets are a little bit stronger, but it's not enough to where it will ever give you a problem. It'll never fall off the phone, so that's not really an issue. Just as a summary, it does work. Occasionally it will work maybe eight times out of 10, but you will still get those 2 occasions where it just won't do anything, and you'll have to remove it and then reattach it in order to get it to charge. The other thing that the issue is, there's no real interaction with the software, and it doesn't give you those options in low power mode in order to push past that 90% charge limit that the genuine one has on it. Heat wise, I don't think it manages the heat quite as well either. The genuine one, throughout my testing, I found that whenever your phone gets to a certain temperature, it'll automatically back off. It still indicates that it's charging, but it must obviously be doing it at a lower rate, because it then doesn't get any hotter. So whereas with the sort of replicas, they just get hotter and hotter, with the genuine one, once it gets to a point where it thinks it's overheating or it's starting to get warm, it won't then get any warmer than that, so it's at least not uncomfortable to use. So yeah, that's my take on it so far. As I said, what I will do is when I get the replacement battery pack, I will do a follow-up video and basically just give you my thoughts in terms of whether it's worth going for one of these. So the genuine one is £100 here in the UK, and this AliExpress special, it's meant to be a 1-for-1 copy, is listed as, I believe it was £20 after you add on all the VAT and everything that we now have post-Brexit. So yeah, roughly around a fifth of the price. Is it worth it? Obviously right now with this particular battery pack, no, it's not, because aside from the looks, you're not really getting the functionality that you get with a Magsafe battery pack, an Apple Magsafe battery pack anyway. So at the moment, I would say it's not worth getting. What we'll do is I will still link the seller that I used in the description, and then obviously if you guys do have any questions in the meantime, if you do want to just order one and take the chance, then you can do that. But what I'll do is I'll list the actual shop and the actual listing in the description below. But what we'll do is once I receive the replacement, I will then do a follow-up video as well, and hopefully by that time they've worked out all the little quirks and the sort of glitches with it, and then I'll actually be able to test it properly and see what it's like. Anyway, that's it for this particular video. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and also hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload any new videos, and I would also really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up. And other than that, thanks very much for watching.